Greetings, one and all, and welcome to episode number 32 of Thoughts and Hunches, making money in bunches and sucker punches. Your boy Stoney back for the 32nd time and the second to last time of the season, welcoming his fellow scumbags, hustlers, lowlifes, hoodlums, fienders, degenerates. All you guys, you're back. You know why you're back? Because not only is it Final Four time, but because I've been delivering winners into your pocket, documented since day one. Let's go over some numbers real quick. Don't mind the background. I've got the Giants and the Mariners right now. I'm watching Johnny Cueto, Johnny Baseball, in his first start of the season. Anyway, here are the numbers. Last week we went 5-3. We'll take it. Or last time out, we went 5-3 in the Elite Eight, right? We went 5-3. We went 2-2 against the number on the sides, but we did go 3-1 with the totals. So went 5-3. We'll take that. My numbers for the tournament so far: 37, 25, and 1. 59.68%. Solid. That's as solid as anyone could ask for. Overall on the season, 342 wins, 247 losses, 7 ties. That's good for 58.06%. Again, top notch. Anything over 56 is fantastic. 58 is top notch, right? I dare anyone else to come out and give you as many picks as I have. 342 and 247, that's 500. That's practically 600 picks I've given you so far. Anybody else give you 600 picks and can still hit it 58%? Bring it on. I like it. It's fun. College basketball for the season, 183, 121, and 4. That's good for 60.19%. Again, the numbers speak for themselves. NFL was our only low life, 51.97% for the season. We actually lost money, right? But it is what it is. I don't claim to be an NFL guru. And then NCAA football, we just murdered everybody at 62.14%. So doesn't get much better than that. I mean, that is just simply top notch. So anyway, those are the numbers, okay? Quick scheduling notes before we get to the picks. Final Four is here, okay? So I'm going to give you both sides and both totals for the Final Four games that are coming up on Saturday. Sunday, I will post another video with just 2 picks, the side and the total for the national championship on Monday, and that's it. That'll be the last video I post until August, when college football season and the NFL get going. There is a chance I could start as early as July, making some possible predictions as far as who's going to win conferences in college football and who's going to win divisions in the NFL, but that's down the road. That may not happen. It might. You never know. But again, make sure to send this video out to your friends. Subscribe. Make sure they click subscribe, so anytime a video of mine gets posted, this way you're notified and you'll know right away. You can jump on and check it out and see whether or not you agree with me. Final Four Saturday. This is it. Baseball season is underway. Game 2. Day 2 of the MLB season. Gotta love it. It coincides with the Final Four and the National Championship, and next week is Masters Week. I call it Jim Nantz Week, because we're going to hear Jim Nantz do the Final Four on Saturday. We're going to hear him do the National Championship on Monday. One shining moment. After one shining moment, he'll hop on his private jet and fly straight down to Augusta, and we'll hear him 4 times next weekend with Sir Nick Faldo doing the Masters. And if you don't love this time of year, you're just not a sports fan, period. But sports is one thing. Making money in sports is another. Let's get to it. Final Four Saturday. National semifinals. This is it. This is at the start of the NCAA basketball season. It's not the road to the national championship. It's the road to the Final Four. So Saturday marks the Final Four, and this is what everybody shoots for. Granted, everybody's shooting for the national championship, but just getting to the Final Four is a very big deal, right? For all four of these schools, it's a major, major accomplishment. So in game one, we got ourselves a good one. We got a number 1 seed against the number 2 seed. Baylor, the Bears, 5.5-point favorites over the Houston Cougars. Good coaching matchup. Scott Drew versus Kelvin Sampson. This is top notch. Baylor has been ranked basically number 2 all season, right behind Gonzaga. They've been looking up at Gonzaga, but Baylor's been doing it, and they've been doing it all year long in what I consider to be the best conference in the land. Some might say the Big Ten was this year, but the Big 12, I think, was top to bottom, was stronger than the Big Ten. And the Big 12 has been awesome. Baylor has been awesome, and they do it in a variety of ways. Here's how they've done it so far. 4 wins in the tournament. Hartford, Wisconsin, Villanova, and Arkansas all fell under the wings of what people call a 3-guard offense. I call it a 4-guard offense, because Baylor isn't big. They won't beat you off the glass, but they'll beat you off the dribble. They'll beat you with defense, and they'll shoot the lights out. They've been unbelievable this year. Here's the thing. Baylor, 91% of the betting public has their bets on Baylor at -5.5. That's pretty telling. Right? They're in their first Final Four since 1950. 71 years since the last time they tasted the Final Four. So this is huge for them and Scott Drew. All 4 of their wins in the tournament have been by 9 points or more. They're 7-2 against the spread on 4 or more days rest, which they got here. They're 9-3 against the spread in non-conference games this season. And their magic 3 guards, Maceo Teague, Davion Mitchell, and Jared Butler, are all averaging more than 13 points a game in the tournament. I mean, you're getting 40-some-odd points just from 3 players. You're going to be in pretty good shape, and that's Baylor. That's what they've been doing. They're number 1 in the nation in shooting the 3-ball, 41%. They're the only team in the nation that shot 41% or better from downtown this year. They get it done. This team is exciting. They can get it done on the defensive end as well. And they're up against Houston. And the Cougars come in having won their 4 games. Cleveland State, Rutgers, Syracuse, and Oregon State. Some might say they got a generous draw because this is the first time in the tournament that Houston is not playing a double-digit seed. They had 4 double-digit seeds. A couple games were really close, but they've won 11 straight games going back to conference play. So they're doing something right. This is their first Final Four since they made a couple in a row. They made 3 in a row from 82 to 84 with Akeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler and Larry Mishaw, the Phi Slamma Jamma years under Guy Lewis. But they haven't won it. In 83, they lost with the miracle comeback by NC State. In 84, they lost to Patrick Ewing in Georgetown. It's just, I don't want to say it's their time, but it's been a while. So to see Houston get one would be something else. Another quick little side note, none of the 4 coaches remaining have won a national championship. So the Patinos and the Caliparis and the Krzyzewskis and the Roy Williams, none of them are here. So somebody is going to leave with their first NCAA national championship. Some numbers for Houston. They're 8-5 straight up and 11-2 against the spread as a dog. Those are impressive numbers in their last 13 games. Right? Number 2 seeds are 4-2 straight up and 4-1-1 against the spread in the tournament in the last 6 versus number 1 seeds. when they're playing. Let me repeat that. Number 2 seeds are 4-2 straight up and 4-1-1 against the spread versus number 1 seeds. The last 6 times this has happened in the tournament. So number 2 seeds have been getting the better of the number 1 seeds. The 57 points per game that their defense allows is number 2 in the nation, behind only Loyola Chicago. All right, they get it done defensively, and they rebound like sons of bitches. They go big, they go strong, and they go quick. Justin Gorham, Quentin Grimes, Jarreau, Dijon Jarreau, they're getting it done right now. These guys, they're holy trinity, if you will. They won't light you up. They won't score 80, 90 points because they don't have to. They beat you off the glass, and their quickness and their defense. That's what they do. And that's been their calling card all year long. So there's no reason to think this would go any other way. It's going to be a good game. This is going to be the best game of the 2. I'm going to take Houston plus 5.5. I like the dog in this situation. It's a dog with bite to it. And Houston has been getting it done. So is Baylor. Can Baylor win this game by 6 or 7 or 8 points? Absolutely. They did it just the other day in the Final 8 against Arkansas. They made some free throws down the stretch to give them that final spread that got them a cover over Arkansas. But in this point, or in this case, I'm gonna roll with Houston. It's a dog day, and I like the Cougars as a 5.5 point pup against the Bears. As for the total's at 135. That's 68 to 67. Can both teams score that much? Here's some numbers for you. Baylor is allowing only 60 points per game in the tournament, 60.3. But they've gone over in 13 of their last 16 because they can score. They've gone over in 8 of their last 11 versus ranked opponents. For Houston, they've allowed their opponents 37.3% field goal. That's number 1 in the nation. Doesn't get any better than that. They've gone under in 3 straight games, and they've gone under in 7 of their last 9 tournament games. Most of the signs point towards the under. I agree. I think both defenses step up. I think both defenses deliver. It's going to be a low-scoring game, probably into the 60s, into the low 60s, maybe even the mid-60s. The only thing that's keeping this game from going over is overtime. So in the meantime, in game 1 of the national semifinals, we're going to take Houston plus 5.5 and under 135. Game number 2. And this is it. This is the story of the tournament has been UCLA. And the number 2 story of the tournament has been Gonzaga. Gonzaga is the number 1 team in the nation. They were the number 1 team in the nation when COVID hit last year. They would have been a number 1 seed. They would have been the favorites to win the tournament last season, which means had the tournament gone on and Gonzaga won it, they'd be going for back-to-back championships amid a perfect season. Gonzaga, we all know the numbers. They're 30-0. So far in the tournament, Norfolk State, Oklahoma, Creighton, and USC have all fallen victim to the Zags by double digits. They've covered in all 4 games. This is their second Final Four. After all their success that Gonzaga's had, it's only their second Final Four. They made the national championship in 2017, and they lost controversially to North Carolina. Anybody wants to go back and look at the last 5 minutes of that game when Gonzaga was either leading or it was a very close game, and you watch every single foul call and every single whistle that the Zebras blew that day and tell me that they weren't favoring North Carolina. They just kept sending Carolina to the line on phantom calls. And it was just one of those games where I sat there it wasn't because I had Gonzaga, but I did, and I lost money that night. But it was because Gonzaga played better and they deserved to win that game. It was an ugly game, foul-filled game, and most of the calls went Carolina's way down the stretch. But that was their last time in the Final Four, and now they're looking for history. And here are the scary numbers. 29 of their 30 wins have come by double digits this year in their 30-0 record. That's frightening. They've scored 88 points per game in the tournament. Frightening. They're the fourth number 1 seed to face a number 8 or worse in the tournament. And the other 3 times, the number 1 seeds all won by double digits. Jalen Suggs, Corey Kispert, Drew Timme, Joel Ayayi, Andrew Nembhard. These guys from Gonzaga, any one of them can go for 20 on any given night. You watch the way they play offense, the picks, the back cuts, the screens. It's poetry in motion. It's a machine. And it's been rolling. And it's been rolling all year. And I said at the start of the tournament that I was not going to bet against Gonzaga until somebody proved that they could cover against Gonzaga. Nobody has. So I'll be taking Gonzaga, right? Wrong. It's just too big. 14.5 points. The largest point spread in the history of the Final Four. UCLA is getting 14.5 points. How did UCLA get here? The first 4 they had to win in overtime over Michigan State. Then they took out BYU, Abilene Christian, Alabama in overtime, and then Michigan at the buzzer the other day. They've been living on the edge, but as an 11 seed, they've managed to make it all the way to the Final Four. We all know their storied history, more national championships than anybody, but those days are dead. John Wooden, long gone. And their last national championship was all the way back in 95 under Jim Herrick with the O'Bannon brothers and Tyus Edney. So this is their first Final Four since 2008 when they made 3 in a row under Ben Howland with the Jeremy Aflalo and Jordan Farmar and Luke Richard Baamute teams. That made 3 straight. And that last one included Kevin Love and Russell Westbrook as well. They're the 6th double-digit seed to make it to the Final Four. So it doesn't happen very often. It may sound like a lot, but the tournament's been going on for a couple years and only 6 teams made it this far. They're only the 2nd team to go from the first 4 to the Final Four. The other team was... Think about it. 2011 Virginia Commonwealth under Shaka Smart. Remember that team? They beat Duke on their way to the Final Four. Underdogs of 10 to 15 points are 5-2 against the spread in this tournament. That's an interesting number because they fall right at 14.5. UCLA is 7-3 against the spread as a 6-point dog or better under Mick Cronin. That says a lot. 7-3. Only 2 of their 9 losses on the season were by 14 points or more. They're 7-2 versus ranked teams against the spread under Mick Cronin. They get it done. It's just that simple. All right? This team, the Jays, Johnny Juzang, Jaime Jaquez, Jules Bernard, they've been fighting, they've been clawing, they've been scratching, and this is their time to show that they can at least play with Gonzaga. I don't think many people are expecting them to go out there and beat Gonzaga. I'm certainly not, and everybody knows my affinity towards UCLA. I'm a huge fan, and I'll be rooting with everything I got for UCLA to get to the national championship and a win over the almighty powerful Zags. But I don't see it happening. But 14.5, I will take that. I have to take that. You got to take that. 14.5, big number. So I'm going to roll with the Bruins at 14.5. As far as the total's at 145.5. Again, big number. But that's because Gonzaga scores so many points. Here's some of Gonzaga's numbers. Their defense has allowed 64 points per game and 28% from 3 in the tournament. That's pretty damn good. The over has gone 19-9 for Gonzaga in non-conference games. Or excuse me, not for Gonzaga. Yes, it has. Sorry. That's completely my bad. Gonzaga has gone over in 19 out of 28 games, non-conference games this season. But they've gone under in 4 of their last 6. So the under's 4-2 in their last 6. As for UCLA, they're 6-19 against the spread under Cronin when they hold their when their opponents score more than 73 points. And that's not good, considering Gonzaga scores 88 points per game. But they've gone under in 4 of their last 5. And the under has hit 66% of the time under Cronin. So we're going to stick with the under. Screw it. Unders in both games. Dogs in both games. Unders in both games. Those are our picks. It's that simple. Sit back and enjoy your Final Four weekend. Okay? That's all you can do. I have my shout-outs before I get to the ending here. All right? My shout-outs go to Pete Dasco, Simon, Sifi, Nico Mano, and Ted Coco. You all know why. Bruins, baby. Go Bruins. My Bruin fans, y'all get shout-outs. So finally, before I sign off, I just want to remind you of the 4 magic sentences. Number 1, there's money on the streets that can't be ignored. Number 2, if you want to win big, you got to bet big. Number 3, to me, the action is the juice. And number 4, good luck to you. See you Sunday.